everybody, happy Wednesday. And on Wednesdays, if you're new to my channel, that means I'm on the website, katimorton.com, and I'm also on YouTube. So if you asked your questions on yesterday's video and you use the hashtag KatieFAQ, I found them, and I've already answered many of them on the website and on YouTube. So if you're wondering if your question got answered, you might want to go check it out. Yeah, and so today I have 3 and a journal topic. So without further ado, let's get started. First question. Hey Katie, is there such a thing as turning off your eating disorder for your family so that while you're living at home, you don't carry out any ED behaviors? Or does this mean that you never had an eating disorder to begin with? Thanks. Thought this was a great question and it got a lot of thumbs up. For any of you who are new, also don't forget to subscribe because I put out videos all the time, as I'm sure you're noticing. But you can give questions a thumbs up if you agree with it, if it's something you want to have answered. A lot of times when I have a bunch of different questions that I'm like, I like all of those, I'll choose one with the most thumbs up. So that's a way for you to make sure that your questions get answered, okay? So can we turn our eating disorder off? Yes. Can we do it for a really, really long time? No. This is just in my experience with my patients. Most of the time I find that because we use eating and our eating disorder, whether it's eating too much, not eating enough, exercising a lot, whatever it is, we use it as a way to cope with things. And often my clients will say that they can turn it off for a period of time because they don't want to like hurt other people in their lives. And then during that time, often they'll be doing something else. Like for my patients who usually don't eat that much and they really are restrictive, I find that they'll exercise or they might purge when they're at home. But they don't do the whatever behavior they think is the most noticeable. And oftentimes we can kind of shut it down and do something else as another way to cope in the meantime. But I find you can't keep it up for that long. It will come out one way or another. But even if you're able to turn it off for, let's say, a month or 2, that doesn't mean you never had one. That just means that you may have found another way to cope, or you may have found another way to stuff those emotions down, unless you're working on it. If you're working on your recovery, then that could just be a great sign. But it doesn't mean that you didn't have an eating disorder. It often means that we're finding other ways and other outlets to cope. And if any of you have experience with this, if I'm not covering it fully, let me know below, okay? Question number 2. Hey Katie, do therapists ever feel guilty? My therapist tells me to text her whenever I'm upset and I feel like cutting. So I do. I text her. And most of the time she'll respond to me quickly and talk me through things. But what about when she doesn't reply and I go through with my urges to cut? I don't want her to feel guilty. Do therapists ever feel guilty about stuff like this, or am I just overthinking everything? Have you ever had this happen to you? It's a toss-up. It probably depends on the therapist. For me, I don't feel guilty. I wouldn't say that that's the word I would use. I say helpless sometimes is more the word I would use because I can't be there with you 24/7. That's not how my job works. If I worked in an inpatient center and I was there during the day and we had people there at night and you were still doing stuff, I may feel more guilty, like maybe this treatment center is not very good, or maybe the protocol we're using isn't up to snuff and we're not doing enough to help our patients. Those are things I would think about. But at the end of the day, I'm working with you in this process, and everyone's process is different. And even if my clients are still acting out, which a lot of them are, I mean, I'm not a miracle worker. I'm just trying to help you best as I can. And sometimes the urges are going to be too strong, but you know what's great about it? I always think is that it gives us more information. How come it got you this time? What can we do differently next time so that it doesn't happen? And so I never see it as a bad thing. I never feel guilty about it. I honestly am just glad that they feel good enough to reach out and that I can support them the best I can. Because I can't be available all the time either because I have to sleep and eat and have friends and things so that I can keep doing what I do. So I wouldn't worry about it. She said to text her. She obviously cares a lot about you, wants you to do well. And she's just in it with you. She's in the process with you. So allow her to be there and don't worry about it, okay? Question number 3. Hi, Katie. This has been lingering in my mind. 4 years ago, I experienced tactile hallucinations. Now, I want to explain to all of you what tactile hallucinations are. That's when we feel things. I had a client, oddly enough, when I was in the hospital, who was floridly psychotic. If you have questions about schizophrenia, I have a video on that. So I will put an annotation here so you can link to it. I'm learning how to do more things here and getting better at linking videos in the middle of a video. It'll open in a new screen, so don't worry. But anyway, tactile hallucinations when we feel things. And I had a client in the hospital who felt like someone was always squeezing her butt. And I know we kind of laugh like, oh, that's funny, but it can be really scary for someone. And then you like turn around if you're in line, you're like, son of a bitch, who's doing that? But it's in our head. So it can be really frightening. So this person had them and they were pretty terrifying, she says. See, so it's really scary. She honestly believed that bugs were living and crawling around in her skin. I've had a lot of patients report that they've had that in the past. I was never treated for it at all. It lasted only for about 2 weeks before I was able to snap out of it, and I've never hallucinated since. To this day, I've never been diagnosed with anything, but I've never forgotten about those 2 weeks either. I guess I'm a bit delusional, but nothing that really hinders my life, I think. My question is, does this make me more prone to hallucinating in the future? Is it possible that what happened back then did have significance after all? I'm just wondering because I never did anything to cause it. I was living a fairly healthy lifestyle at the time. Thank you. I thought this was a great question because it's not something that I touch on a lot. But so when just to clarify, I guess, when we have hallucinations or delusions or schizophrenic-like symptoms, the rule is, and this is just the way I remember it because it's how I was taught in school. We have one day to be as crazy as we want. We can think things are happening. We can think aliens are talking to us. We can believe the TV is speaking directly to us. We can think whatever the hell we want for one day. After one day, then it'd be diagnosed as brief psychotic disorder, which is what this person struggled with because it's only 2 weeks. With brief psychotic disorder, it's anything after 1 day to 1 month. After that, then we get into schizophrenia and schizophreniform. I don't want to get too convoluted with all the details. So brief psychotic disorder is less than a month. Now, does it make us more predisposed to have that happen again? Not necessarily. I actually did some research on this and read in the DSM a lot of the prevalence and diagnostic criteria and what's different and how it shifts. And if you are still delusional, which I don't know because she says I may be still a bit delusional, it may be that more than that, and you just had that tactile hallucination for a short period of time, but the other symptoms progress. And I would encourage you to get some help and see what's actually going on because a lot of therapies and medications can really help out with that. But having brief psychotic disorder, if any of you are thinking, holy shit, I had this happen. Oh my God, does that mean I'm schizophrenic? No, it doesn't. It doesn't make us more prevalent to have more episodes in the future. The only thing that makes us more prevalent is if there was a trigger. Like we actually have bipolar disorder and we went into a manic state and that's when those happened. Or we had a severe bout of depression or an intense stressor or trauma. There are certain reasons that it can cause the psychosis or hallucination, delusion, whatever you want to call it, that can cause that. And those things, if they happen again, can possibly push us into having those symptoms again. Is that clear? I hope that makes sense. If you have more questions about this, let me know. Schizophrenia, schizophreniform, brief psychotic disorder is very difficult and there's a lot of information to express in a short video. But don't worry, it doesn't make you predisposed unless there was a trigger that caused it. Okay? Now the journal topic today, and I actually really like this. It was kind of like it brightened my day. So it says, everyone wants love. No one wants pain, but you can't get a rainbow without a little rain. And I love that because often I find in my life, I don't appreciate what I have now all the time, right? We can't always be appreciative. Like, wow, everything's going so well for me. And this is amazing. I'm so lucky. Although we should try to, right? It's great to be positive. It's great to turn things around. But it can be nice to remember how shit things used to be or all the things you went through. There's this Rascal Flatts, because I'm a country fan, a Rascal Flatts song. I think it's called The Winding Road or the Road That Led Me to You anyway. And it's talking about how he met the person that he loves and how, the broken road. If he hadn't had all these things happen, you wouldn't have met that person. And I would encourage all of you to think about where you are now and where you were before. And often I find I'm like, I would have never guessed I was doing that. Or, wow, I can't believe that all worked out. I was really stressed about that. And it can be a nice reminder that even with a little rain, we still get our rainbow at the end. So I hope you like that. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'll be on Twitter, so ask your questions there.